Hello, Trojan fans! Welcome to another edition of Tunnel Vision. I am your host, India Otto, aka Automatic, here alongside Triple Double, Connor Morrissette, and boss man himself, Ryan Abraham. Welcome, guys. We have another special show for you guys. We did a really big, in-depth analysis on USC's game versus Illinois on Saturday. We had Jeremy Warner come on, so guys, take a look at the Peristyle podcast that was on yesterday. But we will continue to do an in-depth dive of Illinois. We are taking live callers today. The number to call is 512-4-TUNNEL. And as always, put your questions, comments, concerns in the chat, and I'll be sure to star them. And we're live on YouTube and Facebook. So guys, how are you doing?
We're good. Nailed it. India, nice job.
Yeah, quite the intro. Great job.
Yeah, I love it. She's trying to steal my hello Trojan fans. We're coming.
It's epic. It's That's iconic.
Good. No, you got it. That's great. Yeah, we did yesterday. We had Jeremy Werner from the Illini, not Illustrated, Illini Inquirer. I keep getting that wrong. My apologies. But the University of Illinois 247 site, and he did a great job. We talked a lot about Illinois. We'll keep going. USC, of course, playing the Illini Saturday morning here, 9 a.m. It's big noon kickoff on Fox. Number 21 USC, number 23 Illinois, big one. So we'll get into that. But we'd love to hear from you. Comments on YouTube, comments on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in live if you are. If you're watching this later on, that's awesome too. And you can even listen in podcast form. I'm ready, guys. Are you ready, Connor?
Ready? We're heading to Illinois tomorrow, stopping in Chicago first, so come out to the Theory Bar tomorrow and hang out with us. But yeah, this game can't get here soon enough. I started talking yesterday about how Lincoln Riley was really confident in this team and he's feeling really good about him. And we hadn't heard a ton of that from Lincoln in the past couple of seasons. I kind of feel like USC and Lincoln Riley feel like they're cooking with gas right now. And you know me, if I thought they were going to not play well, I'd tell you. I think they're going to go in and play pretty well.
People have called you negative before,
yeah.
Connor.
It's amazing what happens when things go well. The negativity.
He's just trying to tell you what he thinks,
yes.
And he thinks. And one of the things when I did some different radio interviews in Chicago and across Illinois, and then I went on Jeremy Warner's podcast and did a conversation with him for the Know Your Foe piece where we exchange questions and everything. Make sure you check that out. He has like 2,500 words on Illinois. So go check it out over at uscfootball.com if you're not. If you haven't yet, if you're not a member, you can sign up, 30% off. It's a great deal. You want to check it out. But it's a lot of words on Illinois football. You will be very well informed. But one of the things I sort of was talking about when people were like, hey, where is the mindset of this team? And there was a lot of confidence in the building in this offseason. And because USC wasn't preseason ranked in the AP poll, it was sort of like an opportunity to put a chip on your shoulder. And like no one else is believing that this team, they went 6-6 last year, 4-5 the Big Ten, lost to Maryland, lost to Minnesota, but beat two SEC teams to bookend the season. The guys in the building were confident. I think the coaches, what they were able to do, being able to keep Danton Lynn, be able to bring in Jermaine Carroll as the strength and conditioning coach, to be able to bolster the defensive line, to have the whole personnel staff with Chad Bowden. There was so much that was done, and they were very confident that they were this close last year. Now that they fixed all these things, this is going to be a team to reckon with. And that wasn't a narrative nationally. I mean, we kind of talked about it, but none of us were – we were 8-4-ish, and that they could still end up 8-4. But looking at this team now, you're seeing the confidence that this coaching staff had in the offseason. You're kind of seeing it on the field because they have played lower competition in some aspects. 2 conference games is still good, but they looked really impressive in all the games. And so I think it's one of those things where we were hearing it like they were saying, they felt like they were going to be a strong team. And now people are they're starting to feel that too. And the important thing is going to Illinois and getting a win against a ranked team, another road, Big Ten win where you couldn't get any last year and you get 2, multiple time zone travel. That would be a big deal. So I think they know how important this game is. 4-0 is great, but that's kind of expected. 5-0 was a little hit or miss. Now 5-0 is kind of expected if you've watched these two teams. So they just got to go out and take care of business.
In the offseason, Chad Bowden repeatedly said this team is really close to being a lot better. And I would think to myself, well, maybe, but I don't know if I see it the same way he does. And through 4 games, he's been right. But yeah, the opportunity now for USC, it's changed where you have Illinois, who's underperformed, and that game looks a lot better than it did to start the season. But the rest of the schedule, the rest of this middle part of the schedule is still fairly challenging, where you host Michigan. There's a couple byes thrown in there, but then at Notre Dame and at Nebraska. What's really fun about this next part of the schedule is they looked better than I thought to start the year, and now we're going to see if that was real against these better teams. And Illinois might not be one of those better teams, so maybe that might not start for a couple more weeks, but it is a road game. It's a team that won double-digit games last season. They do have some guys who are healthy in the secondary outside of Xavier Scott, their best guy, but everyone else for them has been healthy and is cleared to play. So it's not like USC will just roll over them without any pushback from Illinois, but I certainly think that they're worse than I thought they would be, and USC's better. So what does that make you think? It makes you think USC has a really good chance.
Yeah, you would think so. You'd rather play a team that like everyone thinks is good than that's actually good. Like,
well, I want to see him play an actually good team.
True, yes.
But I get what you're saying.
You're building up to it. Like, I'm not sure how good Illinois is. We'll see. I'm not sold on Michigan, but they have a lot of athletes and stuff.
I think their defense is really good.
Michigan's. Yeah. So I mean, there's what looked maybe daunting even last year when you were looking at the schedule. Like, hey, you're playing the 2 teams that were in the national championship game in Michigan and Washington, and both of those teams took a fairly big step back. Now, USC couldn't beat either one of them, but on paper, like those were they were much more beatable, winnable games than what you thought. And I think now, after what we saw Indiana do to Illinois, you can't unsee 63-10. Like that just happened. You can't unsee that. They're not going to be they're not as bad as they showed, but there's something missing. There's something wrong when you can get beat down that badly, especially with a hard-nosed, tough coach like Brett Bielema. If that happens, something is amiss. So I feel like, this isn't we thought it was a top 10 world-beating kind of team. It's not. We thought Clemson coming in this season with all the guys coming back, Kate Klubnik and all that stuff. No, they kind of suck. They're not that good. We're going to find out if Illinois kind of sucks or not. And we'll see. And, it's going to certainly be a test for USC. And then, you can kind of move on from there. But the overall schedule, like Notre Dame started out 0-2. They were in the national championship game. Oregon looks legit. But outside of that, like, we thought Nebraska might be kind of tough. Michigan pushed them around. We'll see. Iowa, loses to Iowa State to start things. And I think they lost another one. But it's just one of those things where it doesn't look like it's a murderer's row, but you have to show up every week. And this is one of those games that if USC shows up and plays the way they're capable of playing, they should be able to take care of business against this Illinois squad.
USC looks better than I thought. Maybe some people felt like they'd be this good if you were tip of the cap. And then the schedule, like you said, doesn't look as good. So it's a recipe for
it's hard
success. Yeah.
It can still look good. It's just not as hard as on paper.
The opponents on the schedule don't look as good.
But like we said, last year's schedule wasn't hard on paper either. They just lost a bunch of games that they shouldn't have lost.
I mean, it wasn't easy, but...
No, but it wasn't as hard as you thought. Like when the 2 teams in the national championship game each lost at least 4 games, right, or something, like...
They played 2 of the last 4 teams left, though.
Yeah.
Notre Dame and Penn State.
True,
LSU. I think last year's schedule was tough. I think every year, like this year, it's breaking in their favor. It looks like 4 games in, but I still don't think it's an easy schedule.
Yeah.
I think it's challenging.
I mean, it's certainly challenging, but it's not insurmountable. Like if you were playing like at Indiana, at Oregon, and Ohio State at home, and Penn State at like that's a tough stretch there. You're playing one of the top 4 teams in the Big Ten. With Oregon, like Indiana. Well, I don't know, like Indiana, Ohio State, and Penn State. You're not playing, and I think those are probably. Right now, they look like the toughest ones. Oregon might be the toughest. We don't know. We'll find out a lot this weekend with the whiteout game. But you're missing 4 of those. Like Michigan's usually up there. I don't think they're up there in that group this year.
No, the fact that they miss Ohio State, Penn State, and Indiana, Who would have thought that they'd be in the mix? But after last year, I guess we had to see this coming a little bit. Maybe the fact that they missed all those teams is huge.
Yeah, so I think it helps. It's manageable, and if you're a team that's, Indiana was super well coached last year. They brought in a bunch of guys from JMU. They did a good job, and they took care of the teams that they should have taken care of, and then lost to the teams that were just better athletes than them. I mean, whatever, that's fine. Like, you lost to Ohio State, you lost to Notre Dame. But I think USC needs to get to that spot where we saw what Indiana just did to Illinois. That was on the road. This is at home. But if you don't make a bunch of mistakes and you just do your thing, you should be able to outpace this Illinois team. So I think it's going to come down to how USC plays like that. But yeah, Indiana looks good. I thought they'd take a step back this year, and they might, but they might be better. Which is I did not expect.
I think they are better.
And their schedule's tougher this year because they do play. I think they play Oregon. I think the Penn State. So it's going to be a little bit different. But that's not a team you want to see on the schedule. Like, when they get it rolling, it's sort of like when you piss off Dan Lanning and say that you bought all your players or whatever. Like Mike Gundy, who just got fired, and then they roll you. What was it, 69-3 or something? It was some horrible. That was just a train wreck of a game. That was a motivated Oregon can just pile on. And Indiana's not about motivation. It's about never he has this killer instinct. He just wants to destroy whatever's against him. I think I mentioned one of the other shows. It's like, it was 63-10 in Indiana drive-in, and they showed him on the sidelines, and he's not like, he looked upset, like someone kicked his dog or something. Like, he was like, what could possibly going wrong? You're up 63-10 on a top 10 team. And he will never let up. And so I think USC needs a little bit of that attitude for sure.
And they'll have a chance to. I think one of the interesting parts of this matchup against Illinois, heading into the season, Illinois returned all 5 offensive linemen, and you thought, okay, that is going to be a really good front to test USC's defensive front. Let's see. And then we start the freaking season, and they've allowed the most sacks in the Power 4, and they're really struggling, and USC's defensive front has been awesome. So that test doesn't really look like it's a test. And then on the flip side, Illinois, their defensive line, they bring back Gabe Jackas, who is a good edge rusher, and they have some linebackers who can get to the quarterback. And my thinking was, okay, put that up against a USC offensive line that they lose their left guard to Oregon, they lose the replacement in eligibility rule. Like, that looks like a matchup on paper that Illinois will have a chance at, but again, it's the reversed, where Illinois' defense has struggled and that defensive line hasn't quite clicked. USC's offensive line has been awesome, and that's why we can talk before the year. It's like the AP poll votes. Like, okay, I think Notre Dame is amazing or whatever, just using them as an example, and then they'll start 0-2. It's like, I think the Illinois offensive line is good, and I think their defensive line will challenge USC. And then we watch the games, and that hasn't been the case. So people have asked me, why are you so confident? And it's a road game. USC will still be challenged. But when that offensive line for Illinois is as bad as it's been, and USC's defensive line leads the country in sacks, like, sometimes 2 + 2 = 4. It's right in front of you. Yeah. There's nothing with those statistics outside of college football being wacky and weird, and anything can happen, that makes me think, okay, this is going to be a problem for USC. They should have the advantage on both sides of the ball in the trenches. They have the better quarterback right now, in my opinion, as well. That leads to a lot of success. That's why I like them this week fairly big.
Yeah, it's hard, I think, the way the sport has changed so much in the last 5 years or so, and when you're trying to predict what a team is going to do, portal, like, there's so much. That's the thing,
they didn't even have portal.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many changes in the offseason a lot of times. But if you have a whole unit coming back that was good last year, like the Illinois offensive line was good. Like, they played against guys that were, Michigan has NFL defensive linemen, South Carolina. Like, this is end of the season stuff. They start off kind of shaky, and maybe they'll get it going. But that was sort of a known quantity, and it's not been the case so far. So I think for USC, it's important. Yes, you understand they give up a lot of sacks. Yes, understand you're leading the nation in sacks. You still have to execute. They could have got after Aiden Childs, I think, a little bit more. Like, Michigan State was giving up a lot of tackles for loss. I don't know how many. USC had like 7 or something. Like, I mean, they had a decent number, but I think Michigan State was averaging like 10. And so USC, who's generating a lot of tackles for loss, like was below Michigan State's average, if I'm remembering that correctly. So you still have to go out there and sack Luke Altmaier. Like, he got sacked 7 times last week against Indiana. You can't just go out there and, like, if he gets protected and you never get to him, that's going to be a problem. Like, you know that's an advantage on paper. I think you have to take advantage of it.
They'll adjust to. I don't expect Altmaier to hold the ball for as long as he did against Indiana, and maybe the hope for Illinois is the offensive line just clicks because they were good last year. Like, I guess stuff could change, but just a tough spot for them where they're going up against arguably the 2 best offenses in the Big Ten. I think right now Indiana and USC are there. There are other offenses that are good, but those ones are clicking the most, and they got to play them in back-to-back weeks. It's a tough spot for them.
Yeah. You don't want India. I know one of these things is like you don't want to lose, have one game and you lose twice because of it. I forget what the exact saying is, but you don't want to, like, I don't know. So I mean, you have to have the attitude of like, okay, 63-10 is gone. Now we're going home, but I mean, it's happened before. We've seen this happen where you have one terrible loss and it lingers and it actually impacts you.
And it becomes worse. Yeah, you got to flush it down the toilet and have a good comeback the next week.
How hard is that when you have a bad performance to flush it?
It depends on how bad the performance is and like the team. Yeah, no, that's really bad. When it's that bad, I think it's a little bit easier to flush it because it's just like, I mean, everything with a score like that went wrong, and you do, prepare really hard throughout the week. So some things like that happen. You just have to flush it and move on as a team. And sometimes with things like that, I'd be curious to see how much film they actually watched, or if they really didn't watch that much film and really just wanted to flush it down the toilet. Because we've had like moments like that where bad losses and we'll sit and watch the whole game for film, like for 2 hours straight, and then we'll get into practice, or we won't watch an ounce of film and we're just like, that was just a bad one and we got to dial this up and fix this and this and this and that. But yeah, I'm sure they just flushed it and moved on, and all those guys in the locker room I'm sure are still together and definitely have something to prove this week for USC.
It reminds me of when Alex Grinch got fired. Sorry to bring that up. And
people are happy. That was a great day for USC
well,
fans.
yes, but sorry to bring up that time period. And USC lost that Washington game where they couldn't get any stops. And then the following week, so what'd you see on film? And all the players just said, we didn't watch it. we flushed it. We moved on. And then I think they played Oregon next, maybe, and they had the 2 coverage busts that led to...
Sometimes that's the best thing to do. Just move on, let it go.
Yes.
Don't dwell on it.
But what I'm saying is they tried to do that, and then they still didn't do well against Oregon. Sometimes you're just not that good, is what I'm trying to say.
That's true,
I
too.
don't know if Indiana... if they're capable of flushing something like that, playing a juggernaut offense the following week, is that going to be enough to solve their issues? I have a hard time seeing that.
Yeah. I just noticed I'm wearing like an Orange Crush shirt, and USC's playing Illinois.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, they're orange team.
Well, they're getting ready to crush them.
I don't know. No, I was actually doing work around the house today, like, we talked about Connor's like schedule and stuff. Like Thursday is not a bad day. Like there wasn't any Zoom today, so like I actually was doing some stuff around the house. And
I saw your Instagram that made me chuckle. Your
oh yeah, I replaced a cartridge for the shower faucet in my.
Like God, he's just a fixer.
I've never done it before, but I like that's why I just put on like an older T-shirt to go do it, but then I never changed and just came in here. So sorry, my apologies, but I didn't realize it was like orange. But yeah, I did some plumbing today and it worked. At least it works for now. I was
impressed.
And you're wearing the same shirt, dressed for success.
Yes, just ready. Yeah, I'm not much of a plumber, but you can watch YouTube and figure stuff out.
I respect it.
It's working.
You're a problem solver.
Yeah, I respect that. You're a fixer for sure. We need more fixers in the world.
Yeah, but we got it.
There are some people who fix things. There's other people like me who say, Ryan, help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're excited to head out to Chicago tomorrow. I know some people are flying to Indianapolis. I guess you could fly. Can you fly? You'd probably fly to Champaign. I think you can.
Where is Champaign relative to Chicago?
I believe.
Yeah, south.
I think it's south.
Is it far or not?
It's
too
like
far?
a 2 hour.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 hours south. Yeah, we're actually going to stay we're going to do so if you're going to be in Chicago, we are having a meetup. Like I've talked to people, hey, you're going to be going to the game. Yeah, but, we're in Champaign or we're in Indianapolis. So there's people that aren't in Chicago for this one. For Notre Dame, most people go to Chicago. Some people go to South Bend too, but we'll be at the Theory Bar, downtown Chicago, if you want to come. Join us starting at 6 p.m. So we'll hang out for a few hours. Then we're going to drive south, some town, I forget what it is, but it's more than halfway down to where Champaign is. So we're just going to stay like hotel there overnight and then get up and go to the game and then come back that, I guess, like I said, that afternoon. Yeah, we have time actually because it's an early game. So we'll get some deep dish pizza and then fly out early Sunday morning. Yeah, these trips get a little bit nutty, like the last Purdue one when the 3-hour delay, and I mean we ended up getting back at 2 a.m. and having to leave at like 4:30 in the morning. That was not good. But this one will be a little more chill after the game, barring some crazy Midwestern weather, which Purdue's been in 2 straight lightning delay games, so who knows what could happen.
It's supposed to be sunny and 80.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed on that.
That's what I looked at last time. Like literally we were here, I think, and I looked at my phone and it said sunny and 85 for
sunny and 84
for West Lafayette. And,
precipitation 0.
And so we looked at that, and then when we tweeted something or whatever about it was thunder and lightning.
I didn't bring a jacket, and then
I didn't bring one. I bought one at the thing.
Are you bringing that?
No, because it's too warm. I think it's going to be too warm. Unless
not even for good luck.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe, but like I don't think the weather's gonna be bad. But someone gave me crap on it said rain for a long time or something like that. I'm like, long time? I checked like Thursday night. Like, well, you got to check within 24 hours. I'm like, 85 and sunny could turn into thunderstorms like in 36 hours. Like, I don't know. That was just that's why I don't live there.
A fluke.
That's why I like living here.
Yeah,
you don't have to like look at the weather because it's just good.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to the game, but then the pizza after is always nice. It reminds me when the Michigan game last year, we had some good pizza, some Detroit style. After that game. So.
You weren't here? No, you didn't do the deep dish with us.
No, because I was celebrating my dad's birthday.
Oh,
so I missed that. So yeah, it'll be something new for me.
What's your pizza orders?
I mean, deep dish. I'll just get like a deep dish pepperoni kind of thing. Okay. Yeah, usually something with meat. If they do meatball or something, but those are like
the classics.
Do you like? I mean, for deep dish, it's separate. Yeah.
I don't like deep dish pizza. It feels like a full meal to me, and I I have to cut into like a pizza. I don't know. I don't dislike it. It's not my favorite style of pizza, I would say.
Jaime says go to Portillo's, I think. Yeah, those Italian beef sandwiches. There's a bunch of stuff. There's like Riccabenni's. Is some like my buddy from Chicago.
Portillo's is good.
Portillo's good. Yeah.
I've been there. There's one here. There's one in
Orange
County. I
didn't know that.
Yeah.
I forget. We might have went to Uno or Giordani's or whatever. There's a bunch of great Lou Malnati's. Like they all have Italian names, obviously, but good stuff. It's a fun trip, and we'll be back again for the Notre Dame game. I'm sure the meetup will go well. Like the last time we did this in Chicago, it was packed, and hopefully it will be again. I know Illinois is going to be a little bit different than Notre Dame, but we'll be back there. Theory's been they've been great with us, and they're working with the Chicago Alumni Association too, so we're partnering with them. Should be a lot of fun.
Pack the house, guys.
I'm interested if they're USC fans, are some going to Indy? Because for Notre Dame, everyone goes to Chicago, obviously, and then they make the trek. Some people go to South Bend, but it's hard to get there.
I talked to like a USC Hall of Famer guy going to Indy. I was going to invite him to the meetup, but we might have a big-time media celebrity come to the meetup too. So
nice tease, and it's not me.
No, it could be you, Connor. Yeah. India, was there anything from what Jeremy had said that sort of stood out to you that we haven't covered yet or anything? Like he was really thorough, and there's a lot of good.
He was really thorough on the injury updates, which I thought was good. If you guys are curious on their injury updates, he was very thorough with that. He had a good answer to somebody asked like what his expectations of Illinois is after their big loss to Indiana, and he had a good thoughtful response to that. And I thought the takeaway for me was he thinks that this is going to be a competitive game, and he believes that Illinois is going to bounce back, and it should just be a much more competitive game as opposed to when they played Indiana. So I'm excited to see the matchup and how it goes.
They do have some guys coming back, and the most important one is Matt Bailey, who is probably their second best defensive back, and he got a concussion against Indiana. I guess it wasn't too serious because
So he got cleared? Okay.
Yeah, he got cleared. Jaheim Clark, I think, is a cornerback for them who I don't think was playing great, but he is cleared. So they just have a lot of the guys who were hurt are coming back for Illinois, except for Xavier Scott. But his brother will be back, Miles Scott, who got called for targeting in the first half and had to miss the rest of that game. That was a targeting that I actually thought was kind of a bad call. I don't know if any USC fans watched that game. It was one of those where he led with his shoulder, and it's bang, bang, and the receiver was falling away. So even though there was shoulder contact, it was helmet to helmet. I think it's so hard, unless you just go in there helmet first. Like, if you lead with your shoulder, it's such a bang, bang play that sometimes I think defensive backs are in a tough spot, and I know Bielema talked about how he wants to see the rule change. That was one that even Todd Blackledge on the broadcast was like right away, I don't think that's targeting. And then, of course, they brought in the shill referee analyst who will agree with anything the refs say. I can't stand that. And he was like, oh, that's targeting. And Terry McCauley, he was a good official, but man, I can't stand those analysts who just agree with the call. And, the guy was ejected, so he'll be back.
I think like Mike Pereira is the best at that, right? Like he's awesome for Fox, and then everyone else tries to like mimic that. I remember like the NBC guy just kind of stunk like for the NFL, and then the CBS, I think there's like, was that Gene Steratore or something? I forget who. Like, but they're like, he's okay. But like Mike Pereira is like the
gold
goat.
standard.
Yeah, he's like, and then people try to imitate that, mimic it, and it doesn't work.
Got a question in the chat. I know I'm jumping the gun here, but what's the info on Elijah Page? Didn't practice yesterday, didn't practice the day before. If he participated in the walkthrough, that would be a good sign today. But I think he has a lower body injury, and I would be surprised if he played, but we'll have to find out Saturday for sure with that availability report. I don't think he'll be out there.
Is there any other injury things you want to go over? Like, I know you guys talked on instant analysis and stuff about the latest. Or
the other one's Jacoby Lane. Chris and I don't know what's going on with him because he wore pads and he looked like he was practicing, but he couldn't move that shoulder in the warm-up for Michigan State, and then obviously didn't play. He's moving his arms more. I don't know if he did practice. He dressed, but when he was leave, his jersey would be clean, and he wouldn't really be that sweaty. So I think he's a true game-time decision, and Lincoln Riley did say his status was inconclusive after that Michigan State game, so it's possible they got good news and he's good to go. But I don't know. That one we talk about, or I've talked a lot about this week, passing the smell test. That's one that doesn't quite pass the smell test.
Yeah.
I would be surprised, I think, if we saw him, but that's just me trying to read into things. It's not like he wasn't out there. He was. So I guess I don't really have an update, but we'll see what the availability.
No, I get it. It's like if you're reading the tea leaves, or like with the Lincoln Riley said, the update's going to be in the availability report on Saturday. But if they want it out there, they want Illinois to prepare for him, then you like, hey, I know you're going to practice, but wear your pads and walk out, like that kind of stuff. Like, could USC do that? Sure. Like, I don't see why not. So, yeah, if it's one of those things where like, this doesn't feel right, then I'm leaning more towards he's not going to play. And even Lincoln Riley's words from after the game, it just sounded like that was a multi-game thing where Elijah Page, you felt like he might be able to come back.
And then Jakeem Stewart was in a boot on Tuesday, but not in a boot on Wednesday, and looked like he practiced. So I don't know if he'll be questionable or he won't even be listed. But those were the big three. I'm trying to think of anyone else. Alex Graham won't be back until after the bye. Prophet Brown might have a medical redshirt situation, so it's possible we don't see him at all this year. Any other injuries off the top of your head?
No,
Ryan?
I think
those were the big ones.
I mean, the kicker situation is still like.
Well, if Caden Chittenden comes back, I think he lost his job, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say like it didn't seem like.
Ryan's doing great at it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ryan Sayeri. Yeah, the kickoffs have been really good, and Caden Chittenden, if he ends up redshirting, he's now in an era where he was a freshman All-American at UNLV. If he transfers, he can go get paid somewhere else. So. Like, I used to feel bad for people who would get hurt and get beaten out, but now if you still have eligibility left, you can get paid.
You got
might be
paid.
a good thing for him.
You got paid to go there. If you don't play, it's like,
Pay to go somewhere else.
Oh, we got a touchdown.
Any other parts of this matchup, Ryan and India, that you think can stress USC? Like Luke Altmaier, the fact that he's an experienced quarterback and USC's given up some chunk plays, that's something to watch. But I look at their receiving core. they lost their 2 best guys to the NFL. They had to replace some people in the portal. Hudson Clement from West Virginia is a decent option for them. Hank Beatty has been a good player for them, but like they don't have a Mekhi Lemon or a Jacoby Lane, and that's something else that makes me like USC, where I don't see the explosive player. Where at least with Michigan State, it was like, okay, Nick Marsh and Amari Kelly, like those are 2 pretty good receivers. Their tight ends are okay. The best player for Illinois, I think, is their quarterback, but even he doesn't strike me as like an explosive, big arm guy. He's just a smart player, a savvy veteran. And I don't really love their skill position guys. Their running back, KJ Fagan, is pretty big, and then they have some other guys. But no one on that offense like scares me, I guess, with all due respect to Illinois.
Yeah. I think that, not explosive, but also Luke Altmaier can dish. I mean, he's had some big numbers, a lot of games. It's his 3rd year starting, and USC's given up the 10-plus yard plays significantly, and that's really tough, and they've done it in bunches where you're, 15 yards, 12 yards, and then it's like boom, then you're in scoring position. And I think if you're not getting to him as much, he can still complete a bunch of passes. They can move the ball down the field, control the ball. I think Illinois is going to try to run the ball more and control the clock, limit possessions. We've seen teams try to do that against USC, especially after getting blitzkrieged by Indiana last week. You don't want. You want to delay things. You want to slow things down. And if they're able to move the chains, even if you're not scoring, if you're moving the chains 2 or 3 times a drive, like you're taking up a lot of clock. And I think that's sort of like mission accomplished if you're trying to do that. So for me, it's more about you keep giving up those chunk plays. You got to stop doing that at some point. But if Illinois is going to have success, you got a great quarterback. You got guys that are capable of catching the ball, bigger running back that is capable, and you can move the chains and keep the USC offense off the field, which I think USC's advantage is when they got their offense out there. And so if the defense isn't able to allow to keep Illinois from picking up first downs, and then of course 1 or 2 busts a game where they're just going to give up a long TD to a team that's not very explosive, that could certainly make the game a lot closer or go the wrong way if you're a USC fan, So I think that's what I would be watching for.
Maybe the worst case scenario is it's like the Purdue game, but USC doesn't get the turnovers, and so Illinois just hangs around.
Yeah.
And USC kicks field goals instead of scoring touchdowns and doesn't put them away. I guess I could see that happening, but just with how explosive USC's offense is and how bad Illinois' defense was against Indiana, I think there's a world Purdue might be better than Illinois, just based on what I've seen so far this season. Illinois, they had the potential to be better. Obviously, we all thought that they would be better going into the year, but it just has not clicked. They've gotten off to slow starts all year long. This is a game where I think USC, if they win the toss, I want to see them receive and score a touchdown and get off to a hot start. I think it could be like a 14-0 game in the blink of an eye, and then Illinois is really in trouble. There's just a lot of things that aren't in their favor based on what I've seen this year, what I've read, and maybe Brett Bielema pulls something out of his you-know-what, and they have some stuff here or there, but I just keep going back to the thing that they have in their corner is that college football is unpredictable, and I don't really know what else they have.
Yeah. We do have a live call.
Oh, live call time.
5124-TUNNEL. This is our buddy Mitch.
Mitch again.
Hey, Mitch, you're live on Tunnel Vision.
Good evening, guys. How's it going? I think if we're going to play Craig, we just expect to pass. I mean, these 2 quarterbacks, I think, will be playing against each other on Sundays. I think they're both good, especially Maiava, possible Heisman guy. And you think Hines gets some more touches with Lemon being number 1, of course. I expect him to have a big game. And one more thing is, I'm saying Fountain changed his name to Crawford. Is he taking a page out of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Muhammad Ali? I hope he's really good. I mean, he's been good so far in his career, I think. Anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks, Mitch.
Thanks, Mitch.
Thank
you.
I think Cam, India cut you off if you
Sorry.
want. No, I'm just kidding.
It was Connor last week. It's me this week.
No,
Sorry,
you're
Mitch.
good.
Hey, he signed off.
He said he signed off, yeah. I think that was more like religious reasons to change your name. This was more just like Juju Smith Juju Smith, like it used to be John Smith when I covered him in high school. Then it became, I believe it was Juju Smith, and then he became Juju Smith-Schuster, and it was like, I believe for his like his stepdad or something. And I feel like that's the same thing with Crawford, right? Is that the?
I have no idea what it is. I just know that his mom's last name is Crawford, so he's
so maybe switch. Yeah,
taking his mom's last name. But yeah, it was a personal decision, and I don't think he wants to talk about it based on just what we heard at practice. So I think people just want to understand it and move on. So he's Cam Crawford now. As to
we used to call him Mama Fountain, right? But but that wasn't her last name.
No, it's Crawford.
Yeah. But yeah, I think those are probably different things. But
I think she prefers Mama Casey. That's her first name.
Mama Casey. Okay.
Yes.
She's got a personality.
Oh, yes. She's the best. Yes, I agree. As for the thing with Tanuk Hines, I would like to see him get more involved, especially if Jacoby Lane doesn't play. The emergence of the tight ends has been awesome for USC, but I still think for them to have a really good year, a third receiver coming through would be huge, and it looks like it's going to be Hines. Maybe Jaden Richardson will do a little bit more if Lane can't play. He was really good filling in for Lane, but obviously Hines is the highly ranked recruit, has a lot of potential, and let's see what he can do.
Yeah. There's some opportunities here. I think the one, when you're like, oh, anything can happen in college football, I think the one aspect of it is we've seen this team go on the road and just not play up to their standard, not play well, play down to competition, give up leads late. So I don't think that's going to happen, but I think that would be the other thing that could creep in this one. That's just like, hey, they're playing a Big Ten road game. This one's against a ranked team. Weird stuff can happen. Like that Michigan team wasn't very good, and USC kind of made them look like a good team. So I think that's where are you going to make Illinois look like the team we thought they were, or are you going to be something closer to what Indiana did and try to expose a team that maybe isn't as good as everyone thought?
I agree with that. But I will say, I was talking on an Illinois podcast earlier, and they brought that up, like, oh, USC wasn't great on the road last year. And the Purdue game they could have won earlier, could have knocked that one out of the park a little sooner, landed the knockout blow. That's what I'm trying to say. When there's a gulf in talent, though, in the rosters, like sometimes that doesn't matter. And I do think USC will have the chance to land a knockout blow earlier in this game and not let Illinois hang around. If you haven't been able to tell, I've just not been impressed with Illinois so far.
I can't tell. Yeah. Love it. Well, do we have a bunch of questions in there?
We don't have that many questions today.
We have some. Well, if you have a question for YouTube or Facebook, you can put it in the chat. We'd love to, or just topic. If you want to discuss something, we'd love to do it. But yeah, we can jump in and start doing some. And if you want to call in, 512-4-TUNNEL, be like Mitch. Get your thoughts out there.
We've got a question from Fight On Natties. Why doesn't Lincoln participate in the Mondays or Tuesdays press conference on the big network when all the other coaches do? He had like a follow-up.
That's a great question. I'm not sure.
There is I'm not sure why. He speaks a bunch. Like he does. They do Trojans Live on Monday.
Do any of the West Coast schools do it? That would be my follow-up. Is it a time zone thing?
Oh, yeah, maybe it could be something like that. I think. I mean, it's a good question. I don't know. We can try to find out, but I haven't really paid. I guess if Lincoln Riley was on, I would pay more attention. But usually, as media, you'd get emails about these availability things and stuff. Maybe USC opted out. I don't know, but it could be like West Coast thing. I'm not sure.
And then we've got a question, or not a question, but a topic to discuss.
Okay.
More carries for King.
He's popular.
Yeah. When you score a touchdown on every handoff, I think he'll play again because Brian Jackson looks to be out. That was the injury we were forgetting. Brian Jackson,
yes.
I don't think is going to play this week, so expect to see him. But I think he's pretty clearly number 3 behind Wayman and Eli, and I don't think he'll get a ton. If it's a blowout, maybe, but I don't think we'll see a ton of him.
Yeah, he did get. Was it the last game he got a meaningful carry or two, or was it maybe it was the Georgia Southern?
He didn't get a carry last week, but he played last week, so he'll be out there.
Maybe it was the Georgia Southern game where it was before it was decided, came in earlier.
In Purdue.
Oh, Purdue. There was the Purdue game. Yes,
played a lot.
he got carries. So, yeah, I think they really like what Sanders and Jordan are doing. But, you might see a little King there. And, could he bust another touchdown and get his third as a walk-on is pretty insane. I'm guessing he's not going to be a walk-on next year, but,
Well, who knows how it even works? Doesn't everyone have to be on a scholarship somehow, like in some way, right?
Well, it's like a roster thing. They don't have to be like in the rev share deal, but there's only 105 roster spots, so it's like there's not a distinction between you're a walk-on, you're a scholarship player because
Everyone's just a roster.
everyone can just be on the roster. But yeah, he's probably getting some kind of money. Even some of the walk-ons would get some. So, but I'm curious to see if he's like full on scholarship. But it is hard to tell. And I asked Lincoln Riley during camp about the roster limits, and he actually a good answer, just sort of explaining it. If you remember, it was like 105 is what you have to get to, but you're not there yet. And he said for USC, it's actually easier because USC's roster, I forget, he said like 120 or something. It was not something way more than 105. It was something in shooting distance of that, where if you're like Nebraska, they would have like 160 guys on the roster and all these walk-ons that grew up in the area and would just want to be on the team and stuff. And for those programs, and there's a lot of those in the Big Ten, that's a big disadvantage, that your practice squad, all that stuff that you're used to, you're not going to be able to have all those bodies. So for USC, they were already pretty lean, so 105 isn't as big of a deal. But some of those other schools that you got like acres and acres and acres of land to just do whatever the heck you want and like slap pads on all these dudes, yeah, you can't do that anymore.
And then we've got a question from Torian Pratt. He asks, or she asks, have any of you interviewed Ryan Daughtry for the special teams coordinator?
Ryan Daughtry, yes.
Ryan Daughtry.
He was interviewed by Chris at one of the media days, and he spoke.
I talked to him at the last media day, I
Okay.
think, too. Like he was at the podium. Maybe Chris got him at the table.
And Chris got him at the. Remember when all the assistants talked in the spring?
Yeah, I got him, I think, at that, too. Or no, maybe that's what it was. Or maybe,
Chris got him then.
okay.
And then he did one scrum in the fall camp. Yeah, so we've talked to him. He's a straight shooter. I like interviewing him. He'll tell you this guy's leading the punting race. This guy's leading the kicking race. Here's some of the true freshmen who we think will play on us or play with us for special teams. And I enjoy communicating with him, even though it's not that much.
Yeah, but if that was a YouTube question, you can look on our YouTube channel. We have interviews with him up there, so you can just search his name and you will see them. But yeah, no, I liked talking to him. He seems like he knows what's going on, and before it was sort of like they don't have a special teams coordinator; they have this analyst that does. Well, now he's a staff member. He's like, you got it. Now you got one, so people should be happy.
They always had one.
Yeah, but it's just like he wasn't one of the 10 assistants, which that mattered to people, and now you can.
Well, he's still not, right?
He's not, but those lines are much more blurred because you can have more on-field coaches and stuff. Like if he wasn't an on-field coach, it's like, how are you the special teams coordinator kind of thing. I think that's what the.
I have a question for you guys. Do you
yes.
think we'll have another clean game from Maiava, no turnovers? Or do you think he'll finally, maybe get an interception?
He was pretty close to throwing one at Purdue, so I think soon this run has to end, and it'll probably happen on the road. Well, I guess Michigan will be tough, but
Yeah.
I don't want to bet against him because he's been amazing. That stat that you tweeted, Ryan, was incredible. Let me
He's been great.
pull it up here. There's only one Division I quarterback in the last 30 years that's recorded at least 1,200 passing yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, a 70% or better completion percentage, and 0 interceptions through 4 games. And that quarterback's Jayden Maiava. So he's literally been as good as you can possibly be, better than anyone in the last 30 years to start this season. So do I think he'll turn the ball over after that? No. But is it possible? Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come. I think the thing you have to avoid is 2 or 3. Like you don't want that. You want a recipe for how to lose on the road to a team that you should probably beat. Throw a couple picks or whatever, or a fumble on a scramble. So, but I think he's done a much better job of taking care of the football. If he has a turnover, like even one for every game going forward, like that's still not bad.
mistakes
Like
happen.
I think you just got to avoid the where things just start to spiral and stuff.
And one thing we're maybe not talking enough about is if Elijah Page can't go, then Justin Town-Nu'u plays left tackle, and I think he's been really good so far this season, but that would be a position that if Illinois has one of their like fifth-year edge rushers playing against him, something to pay attention to. But against Michigan State, Page went out and the line didn't miss a beat. So I'm not saying that they're in trouble by any means, but if there is a turnover, maybe Town-Nu'u is a part of that just because he's playing a different spot against a team that has some good edge rushers.
Yeah, and it's a little thinner now if Elijah Page can't go. When one dude goes out and three positions change, you know that you're not like, it's not like every position you just have a backup and they go in. Like you're like, okay, well next up, and then we're going to shuffle everything around. That makes it tougher if another guy goes out and there's more shuffling and who you're bringing in. So yeah, I think that, I mean, figure out a way to lose on the road, like that could happen. Another injury on the offensive line that's already one man down, and then you know your quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over this year turns it over. Like that, I think things like that. So to me, that's why it's so important for USC to play
Clean.
Clean, button down, dot every I, cross every T. You're not allowing when the other team's punting to you, you don't come up with some weird penalty to like so they get the ball back. That kind of stuff you just have to avoid. Watch the Indiana game. They played clean. Like they didn't make mistakes. They just did their deal and moved on. And I think USC, if they play like that, they're going to win the game. But if they messing around and it's like, oh, well, this shouldn't have happened, or why did you ran a guy out late and you got to delay a game and then it pushed the field goal too. I mean, all that kind of stuff is just like when you have to explain, like, oh, well, this happened. Like, okay, well, don't do that. Just play a clean game, like India said.
For sure. And then we've got a question from Facebook. Thank you to our Facebook viewers.
Yes.
And again, the number to call in, we're taking live calls, is 512-4-TUNNEL. You still have time.
Oh, we do have a call too.
Oh.
When you're done with the Facebook one, yeah.
We've got one from Bob Mac Brain. When will Riley correct the penalties? He says he likes the aggressive attitude, but his defenses over the years have not shown to be that great, yet they still have issues with high penalties every year.
I think they'll try to correct them, but yeah, I'm not sure that they will.
I want to see, minimizing penalties this week.
Yeah, it's the hands to the face, the illegal substitution, stuff like that. You're going to get a pass interference, a false start, even an offside every now and then, but limit the really bad ones. That's what I'm paying attention to.
No sideline warnings either, by the way.
Yes.
Those are dumb.
Live caller time?
Yeah, let's do a live caller. It looks like we got Big E from Minnesota. What's up, Big E?
Hey, Ryan. Hey, Connor. Hey, Indy. How you guys doing tonight?
Good. How are
taking
you?
My call.
Great. Thank you.
So coming up here with Illinois, I think we've got some good things, some good mojo going with the offensive line. I think we got some good mojo going with the pass game. Maiava and Lemon doing awesome. Lemon's probably going to have a bigger role this week again if Jacoby Lane is limited. Looking at the defense, though, I'm going to ask the same question I asked last week, which is over under 0.5 coverage bust for the secondary. I'm a little worried that the secondary is going to have more issues. See what you guys think. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the show.
Thank you. I do like that question since I was the one that got it right and you guys
Well,
both got it wrong.
hold the phone. Danton Lynn said that was not a coverage bust. He said that play was a beater play. They called the perfect play. It caught USC out of position. He said it was not a bust. So I think Indy and I are right. I think you're wrong.
No. They gave up a 75-yard touchdown pass.
That wasn't a bust either.
That's a bust.
That wasn't a bust.
Have a safety there. Like there's 2 minutes left of the game. Like that's a bust. Like I don't care what when coaches say, "Oh, that wasn't." Yes, it was. Like what do you think it was? Like we saw it. Like
it was a beater. I think he's right. They ran a perfect route where they had Ramsey shading short and Marcellus Williams went with the other receiver, and then the guy just smartly went up the field. So I
uncovered. Yeah, that's a bust. Like,
I take Lynn at face value, but I mean, it certainly looked like a bust.
I think if there's 3 minutes left. Yeah, 3 minutes left in the game, and you're going to allow a guy go one-on-one with your corner, like down the side. Like no,
but that's by definition not a bust.
No, you should have a safety. The safety should be there. That's a bust. Not having a safety there.
That's a mistake. A bust is when there's a miscommunication and no one covers.
There's miscommunication. The coaches didn't say, "Hey, let's keep a safety back," because all they need to do is like We just stop them from throwing a 75-yard bomb, and that's what they did.
Well, Big
I'm
E,
a little upset with the coverage.
Yes, I can tell.
Big E is on my side. There was 2 coverage
It
busts.
seems like we can't agree on the definition, but
I'm going over again, and I hit it last week or hitting it again.
okay. India, go ahead.
I'll go over.
Oh,
I'm going under.
okay. We can't like change the definition. Like if like the guy's running wide open, no, that's not a bust. Like okay, well,
It was a beater.
a beater is. Everyone should be. There's only 5 eligible receivers, so your defense should have some plan for all of them. If they ran this guy here and this guy here, so that guy was wide open. Like you didn't do the right thing then. Like,
Lynn got outsmarted. That was the rare time when he got outsmarted.
so that was if you remember like
Jonathan Smith.
the Alex Grinch stuff where they kept. I forget it was like Utah or something would keep running. We got another call.
We got 2 more screening right now, but go ahead.
Where they would keep like they kept running. It was like they had a defensive end covering like a running back.
The wheel route, Braylon Shelby
like
covered the
over
wheel
and
routes.
over and
Yes,
over again,
yes,
and
yes,
it's just
yes.
like didn't adjust. It's like you're going to say, well, that was just a beater. Like that was a good call. Like no, that's just terrible. Like you figured out a defense that your defensive end has got to cover this guy, can't do it, and then you let him keep doing it to you. Like I'm blaming that.
Ryan's sticking with his position.
Yeah, I'm saying like
This clearly is generating a lot of debate.
there's
I
no
think
debate.
people want to talk about this.
Yeah. Should we?
I think let's see. We got a coverage bust. This looks like Raj.
Hello, Raj.
Did we lose him?
Is it muted?
I don't know. Is it?
Hello? Yeah.
Now Raj is on. Sorry about that.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Sorry.
All right, no problem there. How are y'all doing? Hope you're doing well.
Good.
I'll
Thank
be
you.
doing better if you
Ryan,
say it was a
Connor,
coverage
I think
bust. Yeah.
Well, I think the 2 of you guys will appreciate the fact that I'm from Central Massachusetts, born and raised just outside of Worcester.
Worcester.
Grew up a diehard USC fan.
Nice.
Awesome.
For some Worcester kid.
Yeah. Go Sox.
Go Sox, go Celtics, go Pats. But I did play college football, coached college football for a little bit, no longer in the football industry. But what I will say, having played safety and coached safeties, what occurred on that first touchdown was us being in the cover 2 look, and they ran a post wheel, so it drags whoever that deep half individual was
About to
into
drop you.
the middle of the field, and it opens up the wheel behind it, and you have nobody falling into that zone, which is why Dan Land would say that was a perfect coverage beater. The second one at the very end of the game, that's just a one-on-one matchup. You got to go up and make a play.
So pretty much exactly what I said. Thank you,
So
Raj, for calling.
So you don't know anything about football. And no, thanks, Raj.
This was the one time I agree with Connor. Most of the time I'm a little bit disappointed that I feel like
That's
Connor's
funny.
hard on the team.
For our
that's
intents and
funny.
purposes, doing a podcast and a TV or YouTube show talking about USC football, if a dude runs down the field by himself, that's a bust. I don't care what you're going to say.
From your
It's a-
point of view, I can completely understand.
Thank you. That's
But as
good.
somebody that's just nerding
Yeah.
out on football, I knew it right in the moment. I was like, oh, we're playing cover 2. We're screwed.
Yeah. There's no linebacker that would
I
be
appreciate
like
that.
assigned to it. Like there's, if you don't have someone assigned, you only got 5 eligible receivers, right? You can't figure out a way that somebody's on everybody. Like, that's a bad plan.
Thanks, Raj.
Thank
I'll
you.
let you guys go.
Yes.
Appreciate the
Thank
call.
Thank
you
you.
for
Thanks,
explaining
Raj.
to Ryan what I
Yeah.
was saying.
Is there?
I'm glad he
another?
agrees with me. Yeah, that's good. Thanks, Raj. We appreciate that. I think he was totally on my side. I think he bought that, so that's good. This one, I don't know who this is.
Trojan Fight.
Oh,
Oh, he's got a question in the chat too.
hey, Trojan Fight.
Calling in too. Hello.
Hey guys, how's it going? First time caller. I just wanted to ask you guys about the substitution rules. We've seen this going back a couple of years now, and you got a guy standing over the ball, not letting us snap it, got to get off the field, and I just think they can do something about it. What do you guys think? I'll let you go. Thanks.
You're not going to like Connor's answer.
It's totally legal. If you make a substitution on offense, then the defense has a chance to counter that and the rule is as long as they don't walk off the field, if they go at a normal pace, so some guys go a little slower and it's frustrating, but if you go at a normal pace, it's legal. So that's why USC got the delay game I think it was on their first drive, because they subbed late and then Michigan State took advantage of that and led to a delay game penalty. So it's frustrating, but yeah, as India said, it's smart, and that's what I would do too to try to slow down USC. But I think they're ready for it now, and Lincoln Riley understands that that's what teams do. Like Utah would do that. So it's totally within the rules. Like if the officials had an issue with it, they would call something, but that's just how the game works right now, where if you sub, the defense has a chance to sub, and if they move a little slowly, things can get hairy with the timing.
The Michigan State big linemen that would come off, I forget, but they were doing something with their arms. Do you remember what they were doing? But it sort of was like they were moving really slow, but they were doing something to sort of make it look like they were. I bet you it was a strategy of how I forget what they were exactly doing. If someone in the chat wants to point that out, but
they were just going slow.
They were going slow, but I feel like they weren't like regular. Like there's something with their arms going up and down or something. But yes, I think this puts pressure on opposing offenses. You can't be sloppy if you want to make the perfect play call, but it's late, it's halfway through the play clock. You can't do it. You just have to say, we're going with the guys out there. Because if we wait and we hesitate, if you do it early, it's fine. They're just wasting time and, whatever. They might take guys off the field. But if they do it, if you're substituting late, then you're screwed. So you can't do that. So it just puts pressure on Lincoln Riley or whoever's calling plays in any of those games to not make a late substitution. If you're substituting, that's great. Just do it. Don't wait till halfway through. We could get this in. No. Some of those guys just love their perfect play call and stuff. It's nope, you can't do that if it's late in the play clock.
I think we got another caller, Ryan.
Oh my
Holy
goodness!
Cow, this is like a record.
It was my reiteration.
Yeah. Ooh,
I think it's Tom in Malibu, right? Tom, you there?
Tom is from Malibu. Good evening, gentlemen and ladies.
Good evening.
Hi.
So I was reading the peristyle over the last 48 hours, and I just felt that I called my assistant and said, clear my calendar today because I am going to do nothing but travel for my beloved USC Trojans. I have a report for you guys, okay?
Gotcha.
The team left on a Boeing 757-300 aircraft, United Airlines, at exactly wheels up 1:02 p.m. Pacific time. Okay?
Perfect.
They landed in Chicago 6:54 p.m. And once again, let me give these dates. I know the guys at the peristyle, they need this down to the second, okay?
They're going to love this.
1:02 p.m. departure, 6:54 p.m., 757-300. Now, Ryan, there's exactly 24 first-class seats on that aircraft. Plenty for our offensive and defensive line starters, right? Lots of room on that plane. Nice selection of movies. So the boys should have been very, very, very difficult. I am now trying to focus on what happens from the time they land until tomorrow morning because, God forbid, we have to focus on everything that these guys do. I mean, it's just, I don't know how we've ever won a game before 4 days of peristyle discussing the travel habits and exactly what's next. Thread count at the hotel, pillow softness. What else are we going to discuss on a peristyle? Anyway, guys, obviously having a little fun with you. Just want to tell you guys have done a great job. You bring so much joy to so many of us who enjoy the Trojans and keep up the good work. And I know I'm crazy to say it, but I feel like an easy victory on Saturday. It looks like we're going to go to 5-0, and it's going to be a hell of a year. Thank you guys very, very much.
What a call.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. You want to give him applause for that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tom, awesome stuff. I wanted to find out what the upholstery was in the bus that they're going to take down to Champaign, because that's pretty important. You want it to be nice and comfy. I love that. He's like the thread count in the hotel,
pillow softener.
Yeah, that
was funny.
If you don't know what they're referring to, a lot of people on the Peristyle, our message board, and even on social media and stuff, and it's come up here. Why is USC leaving the day before games instead of 2 days before? And with this being early kickoff, I had put in the war room, I guess last week, that USC was looking to change their charter, which was chartered for Friday, and move it to Thursday. And that's what I felt they were going to do. We talked to some people, around it, that's what they felt they were going to do. But USC never like made it public, so then it became kind of this weird thing. And usually you'll see social media posts from the team and from
Instagram,
like Keely
them
and
on the
stuff. Yeah,
bus.
they're getting on the plane and
yeah.
wheels up, here we go. And there wasn't any of that today, apparently. I don't know, I didn't look, but I've asked you guys, and that's what you guys had said. So whatever, USC left today. They're going a day early because it's a really early kickoff, which I think is smart. I think that's what you want to do. But for whatever reason, USC's not like publicizing it. So I don't know, but whatever. It's like, yes, they left on Thursday. People were begging for USC to leave on 2 days early. So if USC goes out and gets blown out by Illinois, then they're going to be like, why did we leave on Friday or something? I don't know. But
Because I don't think they left on Thursday for any games last year.
no, in
That's
Purdue, they left Friday.
not part of the plan. What did they do for that Colorado game a couple years ago? Got to leave Thursday for that, right?
No, because it's a 1 hour flight.
Or
or
yeah,
whatever.
I got my wires crossed. Yeah, that wouldn't have made sense
Yeah,
either.
not a 1 hour. It's like hour and a half or 2 hours or something. But yeah, nice. We got a lot of calls.
Yeah, we did. And we got a couple more questions left.
Okay.
We've got a question from Torian again. Over under on sacks 4.5 and over under tackles for loss 6.5.
They gave up 7 last week. 4.5's a lot. I think when you have that bad of and they were bad against Duke also. So I feel there's going to be some kind of focus.
Yeah,
they
but
might
5
keep
sacks. Yeah, that's
like keep. I might have to take the under, but I think they'll get like 4. If they get more than that, I think they'll be fine. But I feel like Illinois is going to try to do whatever they can to avoid more sacks, maybe get rid of the ball faster. I think I'm just going to take the under just because more of the Illinois is just going to focus on not trying to let that happen.
Give me the under on sacks, over on tackles for loss.
Oh, I like it.
I agree. We've got a question from Andrew. He says, with the NFL going back to power running, do you see college making the switch? And maybe Riley has already started making a course correction.
I'm not able to speak to that. I'm not exactly sure what he means by like the power running. The running game seems kind of similar to me to how it's been, but I could not
Yeah, I haven't
be
seen
seeing the same thing.
I haven't seen a shift in the NFL games I've been watching. If anything, NFL copies college. I don't think it's the other way around. So all the spread and everything that was prolific in college is more, pronounced in what we're seeing in the NFL now. So yeah, I don't think.
Lincoln Riley's always had a really good running game, and I was listening to Todd McShay on the Ryan Russillo podcast this week, and he talked about how Riley was known, obviously, for the Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks, but when coaches would go to Oklahoma to meet with him, NFL coaches, other college coaches, people he knew, they wanted to learn about his running style because his run game was so effective, and that's how he was able to set up the pass, and that's why we're seeing Maiava have so much success this year because he's so good at those play-action plays. And I don't know if this is answering the question, but I do think that Lincoln Riley offense, what makes it go is having a really good running game, and we're seeing it this year. And that play-action piece is huge. That was missing last season.
Yeah, and they did use a lot of 2-back sets against Michigan State, which was interesting. But if you think like a fullback or something's coming back, like no, I don't. That's not his style. They can still run the ball, but just not the power running old way of I formation and stuff like that.
There aren't even any fullbacks in the NFL, really. There's like 1 or 2 now.
There's a couple, I think, right? Yeah. There's like 49ers, they might still use one or something.
Is Juszczyk still there?
Maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's just not. Yeah,
It's not really done.
Yeah.
Jakob Johnson was on the Patriots, and he was floating around on the Raiders. I think he's out of the league, too.
The Raiders might have one. Pete Carroll might have a fullback. I don't know. We'll see.
And then we've got 2 more questions.
Okay.
Would Christian Pierce make a good nickel?
Apparently not, because they haven't used him there.
He played nickel under Alex Grinch, so that makes me think, definitely don't do that. I think if he was good there, they would use him there. If it's not Ramsey, I think it's going to be Kevin Longstreet. So that's how I see it.
And then somebody also asked in the chat, like, what about Kennedy Urlacher? Is he in the doghouse? Somebody asked.
No, just beaten out by Pierce and not a nickel. He was never someone who played nickel. I remember asking him at that media day before fall camp when he just transferred in, could you play there? And he said, no, I'm more of a safety. And that's been true.
Yeah.
And then last question. What are the staff picking against the spread? Did they follow you, Ryan?
I'm 2-2 on the year, and I've picked USC to cover every time.
I'm 2-2, and I didn't pick USC to cover once, and they covered, and then had the Purdue cover. We all thought USC would cover this, and it's India. Unfortunately, you're in last place.
I figured. Basketball.
Ahmad's
though.
4-0.
Oh wow.
No, he lost. I think he's 3-1. He said.
No, he picked. I had him as Michigan State, so I think he's 4-0.
Okay.
At least, yeah. I'll go back and look I'll see what he emailed me, but he was him, RJ and Gerard, I believe, are the only people that picked Michigan State. But maybe I wrote it down wrong for him or something.
I don't regret picking USC against
No, they
Michigan
were
State,
covering
but
twice.
I regret the Purdue game. That's the one that was frustrating. I'm picking USC to cover this week. I agree with
did
Thomas
too.
and Malibu. Sometimes you got to look at what's right in front of you, and I just think USC is better than Illinois right now, and their offense is so prolific that Illinois won't be able to keep up. I think I said 31-21, but I could see it getting a little bigger than that.
I think I said 45-35.
Oh, you got
Wow.
big numbers there.
I think. I don't know.
Oh, the
I did a 10
peristyle,
point.
the
I think.
peristyle wouldn't like that. That would be a lot.
Too many
think,
points.
I think that's what I had.
I had it like 35-24, I believe. So I think USC covers the spread, wins by double digits, and yeah. I mean, it could get worse. I mean, I think
Oh wait, no, 42-32 I had.
42-32. Okay.
Yeah.
I think there's opportunities for USC to. I'm not saying you're not going to do what Indiana did, but just be able to put a team away. Like when USC got to the 3-score threshold against Michigan State, they blew it, and then it was down to a 1-score game, and then they pushed it back up, which was good.
And then they blew it again.
And then they blew it again. But you have to I think if you're getting to that position where you're up 14, 17, 21, something like that, you can't just take your foot off the gas, especially on the road. And if you get that opportunity to, maybe it's early in the third quarter or something, I think it's going to be really important it's great that you got there, but now finish. Don't play with your food and allow, there's some.
Put the game away in the third quarter.
Put the game away.
I'm buying into the comments that I heard from Riley. Like, he doesn't talk about how confident he is in his team unless he feels that way. Like, I wrote about it last year at the media day in Indianapolis. He said, we're not where we want to be, but we're doing everything we can to get there. Like, he feels like they have arrived and they're good, and he feels like they're going to go in and blow doors. And if I didn't feel that way, I'd tell you, I think he's right.
Yeah.
And
All right.
that's it.
Well, that's our score predictions.
Oh, I think I just said it right. 42-32.
Yeah, we all just did. Yeah,
Yeah.
That was what we were going to do at the end, but that was
Yeah.
the question. So
Oh
perfect.
yeah, there you go.
Perfectly timed.
Yeah, awesome. But great. Glad everyone could be in the chats and so many calls. We had like 5-6
Yeah.
calls or something. That was awesome to
That
get
was
a bunch of
great.
live phone calls. So thank you for doing that. If you're going to be in Chicago Friday night, tomorrow night, Theory Bar downtown. I forget which street it's on, but just look it up. You're good. There's only one. Yeah, and come meet us and hang out, have a couple drinks and some food. It should be a lot of fun. And then morning game against Illinois, USC, Illinois. We'll be back Sunday night doing Tunnel Vision. We're coming back Sunday morning, so we'll be back in plenty of time. Get some rest, and then we'll fire up the old YouTube machine and Facebook machine again, take your calls, and talk about the game.
Amazing.
All right.
All right.
You want to kick us out of here, India?
Yeah, I mean everything that Ryan said. Let's get this win on Saturday. It'll be a fun one. So tune in, meet the guys at Theory Bar, and let's have a good weekend. Thank you guys.
Thank you.